actually avail you of other minerals, not only in mineral, within the African sub-region is fully represented. So, Delta, tell me a little bit about your state, your home, where a person asks you, what kind of state is Delta as well? You become an ambassador of Delta State. So once again, we are putting time's worth for these.
Woke up one Sunday morning, leaving home. You could get broke, and no one could get lost. Find my way, go to the chance. Oh, I'm
The National Council on Hydrocarbons has come to stay as the ministry's flagship event aimed at garnering ideas that will propel good policy formulation in our oil and gas sector. About this time, last 2 years, we answered the national call. We gathered at Mina, Niger State, to brainstorm on memoranda submitted in preparation for the 7th National Council on Hydrocarbons meeting. The meeting was highly successful, and to God be the glory. The theme of this year's National Council on Hydrocarbons, the Petroleum Industry Act, PIA 2021, journey so far, is well thought and apt for the moment. As we all know, Nigeria's economy to a large extent depends on revenue generated from hydrocarbons. Therefore, successive governments tend to pay much attention to the oil and gas sector with the aim of realizing the numerous benefits inherent in it for developing and diversifying the economy. The Ministry of Petroleum Resources was created with the mandate to formulate policy, supervise their implementation, and regulate the Nigerian oil and gas energy industry. The mission of the ministry, therefore, is to deliver a thriving oil and gas industry for Nigeria. And this mission can only be achieved when good and implementable policies are formulated. Not just being formulated, they are implemented to the letter. This, to me, is the principal reason we convocated annually for this council. To achieve the mandate also, the ministry exercises supervisory role over the parastatals, the operators, and stakeholders to ensure compliance with all applicable laws and regulations in the oil and gas sector. This accounts for why this gathering of experts must put in the best of efforts in evolving good policies that will benefit the industry and the country as a whole. Realizing the dangers inherent in overdependence on oil revenue, which some years now has been volatile and causing disruption in the implementation of the national budget. The federal government, through the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, decided to tap into gas potentials of Nigeria with a view to optimize the gas value chain.
Today, we are gathered in Asaba, the capital city of Delta State, to engage in critical discussions surrounding the well-conceived theme, the Petroleum Industry Act 2021. The journey so far. That is the main topic, the journey so far. How far have we done and how we can move forward? Permit me at this juncture, on behalf of the Delta State Ministry of Oil and Gas, to express our reserved appreciation to my boss, His Excellency Right Honorable Elder Sheriff Igorowori, JP, the Governor of Delta State, for approving the Delta State as host to the council meeting. That is why the absence of a defined role and seeming non-recognition of state government in the Petroleum Industry Act must be reviewed. Over the 3 days, an opportunity is before us to engage in fruitful discussions, share insights, and explore best practices that will compel us towards more resilient and inclusive petroleum industry. I encourage every participant, especially members of the constituted host community, development trust, and oil companies, to actively defend their memoranda, contribute to the conversation, share your experiences, and propose innovative solutions that will shape and reshape the future of our industry.
Chris, let me join. Yes, sir.
To be PIA, 3% of IOC, LOC referred to as set law in the PIA to be benefit to the host community. And we're having 154 communities in Nigeria where gas is being fled. And only less than 80 have been registered. Why? Is it out of 154 to benefit this 3% of the company's annual budget? We're not talking of issue of or pipeline surveillance, but we're looking at this 3%. Which community benefits this 3%? How much is the 3% in a year? 2021 till date, over 1 trillion naira. Where is the money? Who did the IOC, LOC refer to as set law? Who do they pay this money to? The people that were registered in CAC by the oil company who nominated them. Because they are from the host community, we congratulate them. We appreciate them. But you can't be doing issues of oil and gas before we talk about diversification from oil and gas to agriculture, with Delta State Governor and other state governors are now practicing. You can't be handling issues of oil and gas without the host community. Now, PIA affects the oil and gas community, affects the impacted community with pipeline.
A very clear distinction that we have spent over 3 trillion naira in importing PMS in the month of October and half of November. 3 trillion. That's what NMPC and all the other importers of PMS spent in just 90 days or less in this country. What is the consumption? What is the volume that is consumed of PMS? So I expect that when we sit down here in this particular retreat, in this particular national concourse, we need to troubleshoot and challenge ourselves so that we'll begin to talk about things that will help the hydrocarbon industry to actually flower again. It flowered before. I did know that at a point in time, oil was the mainstay of this country. Even though oil today is still the mainstay of this country, are we actually recognizing it as a mainstay of the economic growth of this country? We are beginning to drift away from the fact that oil remains the mainstay of this economy. And we're talking about non-oil in terms of generation of taxes and income revenue to the federal government purse, and of course the ones that are shared by the subnationals and the federal government. We forget that even the taxes that are collected by the Federal Republic of Nigeria come from the same oil. And I like the chairman of the host community when he spoke a while ago, emphasizing the need for host communities to actually cooperate with the oil companies and do the best that we need to do.